Secretary General will convey to the members of the bereaved families our sense of profound sorrow and deep sympathy. Honorable members, I rise in deep anguish over the course of events during the first three sittings of this monsoon session in this August House. I am not able to understand why the House is not being allowed to discharge its responsibility as mandated by the Constitution. It is even more difficult to understand why the people of our country are being denied their due from the highest legislature of our country in the hour of stress. The moot question is, who would benefit from a dysfunctional parliament? Certainly not the country and its people. I am not sure if those who are behind the disruptions would benefit from the crippling of parliament. In the meeting of the leaders chaired by me on 17th of this month, all sections of the House expressed a keen desire to have a productive session and even sought each other's cooperation in this regard. Happy over such noble intentions, I have urged the leaders to walk their talk by enabling smooth functioning of the House. But the course of events in the last few days brought out the gap between the noble intention and the real actions. It is really despairing. The only business that could be transacted so far was 4-hour discussion on COVID-19 issues and the hour-long reply by the concerned minister. Since the discussion could take place, the leaders and members could place on record their views and concerns over the management of the pandemic, besides highlighting the shortcomings and suggesting a way forward. There lies the beauty of having such a discussion. Why not more of them in this House? The people at large also appreciated the discussion in Rajya Sabha as far as the COVID subject is concerned and the manner in which honourable members have spoken, most of them that way. The Minister of Information Technology was scheduled to make a statement on Pegasus spyware issue. I made it clear in the BAC meeting yesterday that thereafter members may seek clarification which would have enabled them to address their concerns in the matter. Even if they are not satisfied on that, there was still scope to discuss, because I have already mentioned it, that leaders and the government, they can sit together if there are further issues and then find a way out and then get back to me. Unfortunately, the proceedings of House hit a new low with the papers being snatched from the minister and torn into pieces and thrown into the air. Such actions are in a clear assault of our parliamentary democracy. They do not cover the world's largest democracy. Please, do not cover the world's largest democracy with glory. Please, should be members of parliament be party to degrading the country's standing in the world stage? It was also agreed at BAC meeting yesterday that this August House will take up a detailed discussion on various aspects, including country's economy, at least for 4 hours. I have even suggested to the government, please, don't sit and then make comments. Please, don't test my patience. I am also a human being. I have even suggested to the government and the opposition to sit together and prioritize legislative and other agenda for the remainder of the session. Some opposition leaders have appreciated the session, but to my dismay, these things turn out to be different in the House. The turn of events in the House brings us to the question of what drives the disruption in the Parliament. It is only political grandstanding. I have stressed that on the eve of the session, Parliament is much more than a political institution, given its constitutional mandate. But there seems to be a scant respect for the constitutional sanctity of Parliament. Very, very unfortunate. Honourable members, you are the custodians of our parliamentary democracy. The entire country, including state legislatures, are looking to both the House of Parliament for guidance. And this has been really acknowledged by one and all. The parliamentarians speak for the people and states their represent. Disrupting the House is certainly no way of doing justice for which you are all here. I fervently appeal to all sections of the House to enable smooth functioning of the House by raising above the political considerations. If at all there are many disruptions, only that will halt the march of our nation, besides letting people down. Honourable members, 3 weeks from now, we will be entering the 75th year of our hard-fought independence. The spirit of its celebration should not be marred by dysfunctional Parliament. Our freedom struggle was all for the self-governance with our people as the masters. But what is being witnessed in the Parliament is to contrary. This does not resonate with the movement of 75 years of our freedom from colonial rule. As the chairman of this August House, I am deeply distressed by the course of events in the House. I expect many of you to be equally anguished. If so, we shall find a way out to the present state of affairs. We are anguished, and so are the people. Let the Parliament function smoothly and bring shine to the lives of the people. Whatever you want to say during the course of discussion, you are free to say it, but within the permitted ambit and scope of any issue or discussion. That has to be kept in mind. Papers to be laid. There is a procedure, you know. Sukendi, you have been in the chair also, senior also. So papers to be laid on the table.